How are you?
I'm good. I'm so excited to be here.
We're super excited to have you.
We're super duper excited.
I've been waiting for this so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, anyone when you had to identify as the what binary, we have the only Rosa in the building. How has your day been?
My day has been good.
Yeah.
Well, apart from the sun, it's unnecessarily hot, but we can deal.
We can deal with it.
Yeah. But other than that, like I'm having pretty much, I think, a good day, a good week, everything.
Nice.
Yeah.
Your album is about 3, 4, 5 days old.
It's Saturday, Sunday, Monday. 3 days old.
3 days old.
Yeah.
It's like a baby just crying all night and all
It
day.
is. And every few minutes I have to wake up and be like, oh, it's out already.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, how are you feeling? How are you feeling to be on 254 Radio?
I'm happy. First of all, this is my first interview.
Oh, yeah?
Or rather tour to a station after releasing my album. So it's quite exciting. I haven't gotten a chance to talk about my album yet on radio.
Wow.
So feel special.
We're
special. So
we are.
yeah. So before we get there, so probably there's someone who has just tuned into the show and had this voice, the only Rosa. How would you describe yourself, like to them? Like, who are you?
So my name is Rosalie, also known as the Only Rosa, and I'm a singer, a songwriter, a dancer, an artist, a chef, so many things, literally so many things. But I'm a musician, and that's my little joy and pride, my music. Yeah.
So which came first? Is it the writing? Is it the music? The dancing?
So do you know I was actually in a dance group when I was in high school. Yeah, when I was fresh out of high school, I joined a dance group, and it was a boys dance group.
Wow.
And you're the only.
Yeah, I was literally the only
Rosa.
Yeah, the only Rosa. So I joined the group,
Yes.
and it was a break dancing group. And
Oh.
so yeah, and I was so good at it. And so we danced for we used to have practice like every weekend. So I did that for a while, and then I was already doing music because of high school. I was doing music in high school. So after that, then I ended up just fusing the two. Yeah, music and dance. Yeah.
Amazing. So take us back in a little bit about your upbringing. Where you come from.
What's your hood?
Yeah.
How many countries have you been? Accents near Wapi. Tell us everything.
Gosh. So
Yeah.
I was actually born in Buru. Then I grew up in Doni.
Tano nane.
Yes, and then we moved now to Karen, where I basically grew into an adult in Karen. So it's mostly been me, my mom, and my brother. So I was raised by a single mom.
Wow.
And what else? What else about myself? Oh, I travel a lot. Like I really love traveling. That's one of my, I guess,
Hobbies and joys.
hobbies. Yeah, that's pretty much me.
Nice.
Tell me about
Tano nane.
Tell me about the love of ice. Ice. You sell ice?
Ice! Oh my god! Yeah. Oh my god! This story. I don't even know how you thought of this story. I'm like,
tell us.
it's sort of, you know how when you're like embarrassed, but then you're not embarrassed.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be proud.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when we used to live in Greeny before we moved, and I used to be like super addicted to maembe, pili pili. Yeah, but then it was 5 bob. So it got to a point I had used all the money like in my car savings. So when I was going back like to ask my folks, I was like, help me with 5 bob. Okay, today I get the 5 bob. Tomorrow I guess like help me with 5 bob. So it got to a point that like, look, no, you've literally used all your savings. So I decided, because literally everyone used to have like quencher for some reason. Yeah, so I used to take like quencher and then I'd just freeze it with water, and I'd make ice and I'd sell it like on a stick. And so that's how I'd make the 5 bob.
Popsicle.
Exactly. So that's how I'd make the 5 bob to eat the mango.
My
So you were just funding your bad habits.
Literally, yeah. I was like, I'd make like, let's say 30 bob in a day, in an evening, and then tomorrow that's like 4 mangoes. Yeah.
Oh my!
It's so
everything
crazy.
you were
I'd
eating
spend everything. Yeah, I wasn't even saving.
Just
my
eating.
Exactly.
Oh, but it's like an entrepreneur brain right there.
Yeah.
Kinda.
And I think that's how I ended up in uni, actually studying marketing and entrepreneurship.
You have done marketing, or you're doing?
I did marketing and entrepreneurship, and then I did a master's in innovation and entrepreneurship.
Wow. Which uni did you go to?
University of Manchester, the greatest team.
Oh, yeah, the greatest city is Manchester.
No.
But it's not
No.
But let me tell you, Rosa, Manchester is red.
It's red. It's red.
Also, Arsenal is red.
No, Manchester is red.
The other is dirty red.
That's just London business. Yeah. So Manchester, you talking about you into football?
I love football. I actually worked for Manchester United.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it was like one of the best.
Tell me.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
One of the best experiences of my life, honestly. Yeah.
So what were you doing for Manchester United?
So I used to be security.
Security?
Yeah, so I used to be security for the players.
Well, okay, now who would you scare?
I'm actually quite serious and I'm working. So let me tell you, the whole, like when I was growing up, I used to be a tomboy, right? And so that's how I got into bodybuilding, all that. Like I do that just for fun. So when I went to school in Manchester, I did want to get a job. And there are jobs in like hospitality stuff, being a waitress, all that. And then one day I saw this ad and it was saying it's for security. And I was like, you know what? I've not been bodybuilding for no reason. So I went.
Wow.
Yeah, I actually went and I did an interview and they were like, wow, yeah, come. And so I got the job and I got a promotion. So I used to actually guard the fans and then I was promoted now to guard the players.
Wow. So who did you kind of, which is this and who did you kind of interact it on a personal
The one person I always talk about is Luke Shaw.
Yeah.
Because he's the nicest, like he's the nicest footballer ever. Even from all the other teams, like he's extremely nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you got to interact with Luke Shaw.
I did. I got to interact with like basically the whole team.
Yeah.
But then not on a personal level. The person who at least I know we had a personal interaction was with Shaw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So which year was this? Let me ask.
This was 2018 and 2019.
At least Manchester was still struggling.
That's actually when we started going down. So I don't like talking about it too much.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that's basically been my life.
Nice. Also, like I saw you say Argentina is gonna win the World Cup, and I'm like, no.
What? Who do you think is gonna win?
Maybe Brazil, France.
No, I don't see Brazil winning. Okay, first of all, I just don't want Brazil to win because it's so cliche. Everyone is just like, yeah, Brazil's gonna win. Okay, come on. Let's have another team now.
All right.
The only reason I want Argentina, or rather, I don't want them to win, but I think they would win, is first of all because of Maradona.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I feel like it's gonna be like a good...
Like give back or...
Yeah, like tribute.
Tribute.
Exactly, yeah. That's the only... It would be so amazing.
Nice.
Yeah.
We'll see about that.
Me, I'm here just
what when you're doing football? Yeah,
let me play you Only Fans by the Only Rosa featuring Bien. Then we come back and talk things music.
Rosaland.
Yay.
Ufala ndio manami huishingi hatungepatana ukinikata mara moja wezi nitamalaya and you're telling everybody that this Gucci's on fire. Only fans penye mefika na fungua only fans kauna nipenda tu mafea in advance penye mefika no romance with no finance only fans yeah only fans penye mefika na fungua only fans kauna nipenda tu mafea in advance penye mefika no romance with no finance only fans yeah
hustle bomb, wakituma fea twakuja kwako. Oh yo, steady grinding all night long, na sikuji kasi form ya door, itabidi ukanje ndo tupige show. Ukisikia sauti solo jue ni kubaya, hii muziki ya Kenya twaipeleka Ulaya, na temperature inapanda warazi wanakwaya, tutashinda magrami before tumeretire. Mise only fans walimefika na tambua only fans, kanika kitu mutumia only fans, walimefika nafanyia only fans. Only fans, yeah, yeah, only fans, walimefika na tambua only fans, kanika kitu mutumia only fans, walimefika mutambua only fans. Only fans, yeah, yeah.
Fika na fungua
OnlyFans. Tafadhali tufungue.
Kabisa tunafungua OnlyFans. You know, let me tell you a crazy story I had about OnlyFans, the app. Like I had
The app.
yes, the app.
Educate us.
Yeah, educate us.
So, like, you know, the app yenyewe, people are making crazy money. The women in there are making crazy money.
Yeah.
Like, I've heard that this OnlyFans, the developers have partnered with agencies. Like, they work together and they take like beautiful girls, they give a team to them, photographers, people to model, costume them and everything, and then they have a team of people creating the account and responding to fans and maybe keeping them on a leash. Like, maybe I will see you in LA when I'm in LA, maybe I will see you in Russia, I'm coming to, like, they have a team and the team does research on you. Like, the moment you get in that,
Are you serious?
yes, they know what you like and they will send you what you like.
That's
and
so
people
cool.
are making millions of dollars on
Thank you,
OnlyFans.
Sam, for giving me my OnlyFans strategy.
Oh yes, you need an OnlyFans account.
I actually have an OnlyFans account. I'm just
Nice.
not active on it, but
We will get
yeah.
there to make kitu bana.
Aki-
Tafadhali.
Tuma kitu kwa OnlyFans.
Let's talk about this song.
Yes.
We are talking off air. Take us through how OnlyFans
How it
came
happened.
through, yeah.
So OnlyFans was initially a track that I was supposed to do with Kada Great, one of the baddest producers. And so when he sent me the beat,
Yeah.
it was trap rumba-ish, but it was an amazing beat. But then I couldn't write to it. And then there was like a sample. There's a part of it that had a really nice old sample. But I couldn't get that sample cleared by the time I needed my album to be out. So I actually asked K the Great and I was like, can we change the song, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And what I was writing, and he's like, oh, it's gonna be a bit hard. And so when I went to Bien to tell him to help me write the song,
Oh yeah.
I had already asked Bien severally to do a song with me, right? And so he was like, when he had it, he said, look, sit down, we're writing this song. This is gonna be our song, we're doing it. And coincidentally on that day, Nviri and Bensoul were there as well at the studio. And so we ended up writing it like together, just bouncing off ideas.
Nice.
And that's how, like, we literally had no clue what we were going to write about. It just happened on that day.
Really?
Yeah. And
That's
so
like a one sitting song.
yeah, like in one sitting we came up with the song, but obviously now we all went home with like our ideas just to see if it'll work. Yeah,
Then
and then
I
now we ended up redoing the song with So Fresh and Dilly. Yeah.
So I want to know how is like a rating sesh with Nviri na Bensoul na Bien, because it's like crazy geniuses in one room, and like
oh my gosh, it was so amazing. Like that's one thing. I think for me it's one of those things that I can't explain to someone the experience, but
yeah.
just imagine how good of writers they are. You get like Nviri's songwriting is amazing, Bensoul's songwriting is amazing, Bien's songwriting is amazing. So for me, I basically took it like I was a student, as much as I was like among my peers in the industry, but then I was like, I'm a student here. And so you can imagine like Bensoul giving this like his inspo, the way he writes in Sheng and stuff. And then Bien always has like these melodies and all that. And then Viri just like fuses the two.
And then Rosa comes with the
And then now with the pizzazz. Thank you. And like it was so crazy. To be honest, it's one of the most beautiful songwriting sessions I've ever been in. Nice. Yeah, and it was really fun. That's the thing. Like, it didn't feel like it was a job. Yeah, I think that's why the song feels so good when you listen to it.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's a banger.
Imagine nimeingia Matt leo nimesikia OnlyFans and I was like, oh yeah, I'm in the right
Yes.
place. I'm in the right place.
OnlyFans. So Rosa, I want you to take us through like your music journey.
Yeah.
I'm sure you didn't start like as a musician.
Yeah.
You started as a lover of drums and guitar.
Yeah.
Take us through that and how you came to fall in love with music.
So actually, when I was younger, I had like this traditional drum in our house. You know how your parents just buy random things and keep them in the house?
Yeah.
So I found this traditional drum, and because I grew up Catholic, so in church they used to like play drums. There's this lady who played drums like really well. So when I go home, I'd practice like basically what she was doing, and that's how I learned how to play like traditional drums basically. To this day, at least I can play that.
Yeah.
And then growing up, I was like, okay, what other instrument can I learn to pass time? Then I picked up the guitar, and then and then now during COVID I picked up the piano. Yeah. So I'm not like a master at any of them, but at least I can write music and all that on the three instruments. Yeah.
At least you can write on CV a multi-instrumental.
Yeah. Exactly. But also just even singing, like it's not like I always knew I would be a singer. To be honest, I think it's just randomly singing those Catholic songs as I was growing up that really made me develop a singing voice. So by the time I was in high school and I joined the choir, I was already like, I knew what to do with my voice. So I was just learning now the techniques and all that. And now when I left school, I started like doing it for fun, and then I ended up in a studio. Yeah.
Amazing. So let's talk about, you started off by doing covers, and someone saw you. Someone saw you, and you performed at Niger Night.
Yeah.
Take us through that.
So shout out this guy called D-Boy.
Yeah.
He's a rapper in Coast. I don't know if he's still doing music now, but it's been years since I saw him. So D-Boy saw a video of me on YouTube, and I was singing, I think it was Emily Sunday and Labyrinth. See beneath you're beautiful. Yeah, that. Exactly. So I had just done a cover and I posted it, and he commented and he was like, yo, I just found you today. You need to come meet my producer. Where does he take me? Take me to Sub-Sahara, where Kamula was recording at the time. I didn't even know. To be honest, I wasn't like a music person. So it didn't even faze me that we were going to Sub-Sahara. It was just like, okay, guys, I'm going to the studio today.
To the studio.
I get there and I end up seeing like people who are like known legends in the industry, Akina Abbas and them. You know, and for me it wasn't making sense. So on day one, I'm already friends with like people who are legends. You know. And so when I got there, the producer was like, okay, sing something. There are people there, there are songwriters. If you need help, just write something and sing something. Because I was already writing on my own. I was just like, okay, I'll do something quick and then record it. And so I recorded it, and that was my first ever song. And so when I left there, D-Boy had a meeting with somebody else who was organizing Niger Night. And so I go meet the guy, and the guy's like, oh, yo, I heard you're a singer. Sing something now. So I had to stand in front of him, like in the room, and I had to just like sing anything. And he was like, look, I have Burna Boy coming next week. You're going to cut and raise for him. If that makes you believe that I want to work with you. So I was like, okay, you know what? Fine, I'll do it. But to be honest, I didn't even know who Burna Boy was at that time.
Yeah,
like I had no clue. I was so like confused in terms of this whole music thing. And even now, to be honest, like a lot of people ask me things to do with the industry, and I'm just like, to be honest, I don't know. Like because I just find myself minding my business really. Exactly. And so even back then, that's how I was. So I go to Niger Night and I cut and raise. I sing our national anthem and Nigeria's national anthem. And then a guy who owned a studio, Kaki from Flag 42, saw me perform, and he was like, okay, that's it, I need to meet you. We're going to have a meeting. And that's how I end up being signed to Flag 42. And that's how I end up getting into the music industry.
Wow.
Yeah,
so
it's
like
been
it was like
magical.
Damn, that's magical.
Yeah,
it's
it is.
Imagine when you like day two una cutting Burna
Boy.
Yeah. Do you know I found a photo of myself on that day, and I was sitting at the stairs backstage it was just me alone,
Yeah.
and I was just sitting there taking selfies, and someone took a photo of me. And when I look back, like, I can't believe like that day changed my entire life. Yeah, it's crazy.
So I have a question. You curtain raised for Burna Boy. There's this conversation that is going on about like artists curtain raising for other Nigerian
international
artists.
acts.
How do you feel about that?
I think, to be honest, like, I don't have a problem with anyone curtain raising for anyone, even if whether it's in your country or not. I understand where the beef comes from, but like personally for me, I think when you find people who believe in your craft, you're the one who's gonna curtain raise.
Yeah.
You get, personally, I like putting a lot of blame on event organizers, not just because of the who's curtain raising, but even lineups and stuff like that, you know. So I feel as though it's an argument that as much as we're gonna have it like many times, people just do what they want in this industry. You get? Yeah, like, I think that's just how it feels.
Yeah.
People just do whatever they want, and if you're gonna, I don't let myself like get beat up about it, because then again I can't be like, you have to put Kenyan acts, blah 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 blah. Personally, myself, there are a lot of Nigerian artists that I love.
Oh yeah.
You know, yeah, like, it doesn't matter to me if you're gonna put him first or second or whatever. You get it. As long as my thing is, are you giving me as a Kenyan artist a similar platform, at least to showcase my art? You get it. So the argument, I feel, shouldn't even be, first of all, the curtain raising. Are they even giving like enough artists the platform to showcase? Yeah.
Nice.
That should be the conversation about, like,
I think
exactly. I feel that's the main thing we even need to talk about, because we even have shows and it's just like the same artists over and over again.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, on this conversation, like, it's this one person Mwenyako very vocal about it, Eric, and I'm like, kuna Kinoru Stadium happened last weekend, Ruga, and then Very Bensol, Femi were all there. All of them were there. Kali was there, and they had the same stage. Everybody rocked the stadium.
Yeah, it didn't matter. It didn't matter that Ruga was the main act or whatever.
And then let me tell you, maybe Ruga even sold more tickets, maybe made more people come to the concert. So, like, it's a win-win for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, that too, but I wouldn't want to say that. I feel like it's group effort. Everyone probably, imagine there's someone who came there. I know who Ruga is, but I came here for Femi One. I know who Ruga is, but I came here specifically for Nviri. Yeah. So I feel as though it's not really even an issue of this headlining. Because for me, I think being a curtain raiser is what got me to where I am today. You know? But still, so that doesn't mean that we don't have curtain raisers. We have worthy acts who can headline shows. You know, my thing is just like, okay, even if you're gonna have 5 headliners from another country, let's have at least 2 shows where then one of us is headlining. Yeah, but just give us the same amount of exposure and platforms that you give other people. That's the basic
Let me ask you. We saw Nyashinsky do Shin City. Will we ever see like a Rosaland? I think I would love to see that.
That's gonna be so amazing. Guys, I can as well start selling tickets.
Yes, I'm buying the first 2.
Yeah, but I would really love to have like, so before I released my album, I actually had a listening party. Which is my first ever like solo event, really, and it was so amazing.
You did all the organizing and the calling.
Like everything, but I had a team, of course, who helped me with it. Picture Perfect did my decor. I had Brian Smalls. Game 7 was a sponsor. Yeah, so I had so many things going on, but the fact that it was my idea with all that, like all the good stuff came basically the way I wanted it. It really gave me that whole mentality of I can definitely have like my own show.
I saw like people reacted very nicely to the people who were there.
But like it was so crazy.
And you had like very, what do I say, legends in the game.
I did.
Muthoni was there, drama queen.
Brandy was there.
Yes. A lot of my favorites were there.
So what would you say was like your moment of the night that night?
I think my moment of the night was seeing people react. Okay, so there's this thing I normally say. I don't know if it happens. I think it happens to basically every creative. Now that I've talked about it with other people, it actually happens. But like as a creative, it's really awkward when someone is like showcasing your art and you're in the room. Like, it's so weird, honestly. Yeah, and like sometimes I go places and my friends are like, oh, she's an artist. Good, what are you doing? Play her song now. I'm like, no.
Now the spot.
Yeah, like, wait, when I leave, you'll play.
Yeah.
And so on that specific day, I had to watch people react to my music for the first time. Like, you see, now I've released Rosaland, but you're listening to it at your own time, in your own space. I don't have to see your reaction. Yeah, and so it was just like, oh my God, I was so worried. So when I finally got to see their reaction, which was the first time ever in my career, I'm seeing people react to my stuff. It was amazing. Like, I would never trade it for the world. I wish when everyone listens to my music, I could be in the room and I just see your face. Yeah.
I wish you would see me like listen to a track like Disco. Oh my God.
I wish you could see me listening to Better Days.
Are you serious?
Oh God. That song.
Oh my God, you're gonna make me cry, guys.
Please don't. We got a music break, then we come back. Talk about Rosaland.
Yay! Let's do it.
Here's Danger.
I got my wrist on froze, drinks on ice, tapping on a Friday night, walking like the queen of Mexico. I see my friends inside, we kiss and hug, real thick thigh, the Mr. Girls, body banging like the stereo. And when I look in their eyes, I see a party starting, and the mood is so nice. Dim the lights, dim the lights. When I look in their eyes, I feel my body vibing, and the mood is so nice. Then we dim the lights. One night, what disco? Oh, night, what disco?
a disco. Kwa disco. God damn. Watu wanafanya nianze kuita rolling barrel sai. You know, like getting you.
For sure, that is disco by the one and only Rosa, who is in the building.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl Rosa.
And for now, I want you to take us through Rosaland. You know, we are here. That's Jasmine, but you want to go to
Rosaland.
Okay, let me take you guys to
top
Rosaland.
Rosaland.
So, Rosaland is basically a story, a journey. It's a journey to my destination as a creative. So as an artist, it's like, where am I going and how am I getting there? Rosaland, yeah. Nice. And so in Rosaland, things happen the way I want
them to happen.
Yeah, if I want to like manifest stuff, I manifest them. But then getting there is not easy. Place. Yeah, it's a magical place.
Nice.
But then getting there is not easy, and it's not been easy even now. So in this album, I talk about every other thing that affects me as a creative.
Nice.
But it directly affects my music. Do you get it?
Okay.
So it affects me, and then it ends up affecting my music. It affects how I write and all that. And so that was the whole story behind Rosaland. Nice. So for example, in I don't know, tell me a song you like.
Better Days.
Okay, so Better Days. Yes. So Better Days literally talks about in my journey while getting to Rosaland, or rather in this Rosaland that is in my mind. The only thing that stops me from getting there is sometimes me breaking my own self down. And so in that song you'll hear, when I look into the mirror, cheekbones getting thinner. Yeah, so it was like when I look into the mirror, I'm seeing myself and I'm like, oh, this is not the Rosa that I want. And so I have to remind myself, like every morning I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, better days is in a camp. Yeah, so keep going. Nice. So that one was basically about like my self-esteem and how I talk to myself, of which I feel like a lot of creatives like deal with that.
Oh yeah.
And then there was something like disco. So disco is about, I say wale wa disco tuonane kwa disco. And the people I'm talking about, actually the people who've supported me and held me down throughout.
Nice.
So when we get to Rosaland, kutakuwa na disco. Na kwa hii disco, ni wale wa disco is like my people. So if you are like my people, you've been like rooting for me and I root for you. So that's in that part I say tuonane kwa disco. Yeah. Nice. So these are like issues or rather things that I deal with, but they affect my music.
Oni. Who's Oni?
So Oni is actually a song about, it talks about a guy who didn't have money. He had like a rough childhood growing up, but then he was always like known in his neighborhood. He was popular, and so when he started making money, he started like killing it at his job and all that. He's ended up being successful. Now he's just throwing parties, nini. But the guys in his hood, they look to him and they're like, wow, this guy's representing us. You know, like they're so proud of him. And so that's Oni is me. Do you get it? Yeah.
Wait,
and so,
what?
Yeah, and so the reason it's even in Luo is because that's who like I see myself as in the Luo community. So I want to be that person, at least for my music. Like I represent them well, so they can like look at me years down the line and be like, yeah, like she's doing that thing, you know.
Yeah,
exactly.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Fun to have.
I feel like you should give us
again. Listen to it again, because Kwango, I didn't say it was about you. I was like, it's a guy you knew. Maybe a guy who broke your heart, or
no,
guy who just...
imagine. It's just, but now I took the route for, you know how like when you get famous, so you make money and people are like, oh, you've changed so much. But then there's people who are like, dude, I'm so proud of you. Like keep making money, and like when I see you, lazima to party, stuff like that. So I just used that angle, but it was basically me being Oni.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Let me about Rosaland. How did you start the whole project, the whole idea? How was it born? Did you like start with 2 songs and then you were like, this can be a whole project, or did you like sit down and say, I'm gonna have a project called Rosaland with songs about 1, 2, 3, 4? How did you approach it?
So one thing about me, like if I'm working on one specific thing, I can't think about the next thing. So for example, if I have to write a song today, I can't think about the name of the album.
All right.
Do you get
so
it?
You
so I have
lost
to focus.
in the moment.
Yeah, like
Nice.
I'm just always focused on one thing at a time.
All right.
And so when we started off this project actually with Brian Smalls, who's been my partner working with me on this entire thing.
Nice.
Even contacting producers and all that. And so when we started, I had to make a second album from my previous one. Remember I did Waves?
Yes.
So I had to make a new album. So when I was making this album, I partnered up with Platoon, which is basically Apple Music. Yeah. And so they're like, okay, Rosa, you're going to make an album. You choose how many songs you want in the album, blah, 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 blah. And then we're going to like help you with like the creative side of it. Right? Yeah, the marketing and all that. And I was like, okay, fine then. So I sat down and I was like, okay, guys, how many songs are in an album? Like I had to do all those things now from scratch. Then I was like, okay, who do I want to work with? I listed down like 4 producers. Like, okay, let me call them. Who's free when? Blah, blah, blah. And that's what I kept doing the entire time.
Nice.
Until eventually it was like, I have 10 songs.
How long did it take? When
oh my God, it's taken long.
idea
2 years. It's taken me 2 years to do this album.
Very
Yeah, 2
2
years.
years.
But that's because you see, it doesn't like just depend on me alone.
Sure.
I have to make sure I'm in sync with the producer. Yeah. Now, like a song like Only Fans, where I was doing it with BN, I had to make sure we were also like in sync.
Yeah.
So things just don't happen like as fast as you want.
Nice.
But yeah, even for the name Rosaland, it's actually Brian Small who came up with that name because
after the album.
yeah, after the album, because I kept saying the stories. And so it was like, okay, so what you're talking about is like your own land. It's like a utopia. It doesn't exist. And that's how we came up with that name.
Rosaland.
So I had all the stories for the songs and then like just summarized it into, okay, what does this say? This is your own world.
Nice.
Yeah.
I want to know in the album, this like something, the theme you can get from the album. I think you're like very vulnerable on the album. How do you manage to like put your vulnerability on a paper, on a pen, and go and sing it on a mic and then release it for people to listen?
So I think that's something to do, I guess, with my creative process.
Yeah.
So when I write music, I always think about it like, why am I writing this song? So when you listen to it, like, why should you listen to it? Why does it affect you the way it affects you? And so I try to put that in all my songs. So if you listen to any song, I can explain to you the emotion behind. So there's always a specific emotion that I'm writing from. I'll give you an example. In this album, there's Password. I don't know if you listen to Password.
I know Password.
Yeah, and
only
so
G's can do it.
yeah, yeah. So Password actually, I took it from my friend's story. Yeah, so imagine my friend was telling me this story. She came back from a trip and she met this guy and she was like, yo, Rosa, this guy though. Yeah, like she kept just insisting. She's like, he has something these other dudes just don't have. Yeah, and like in the back of my head, I was like, damn, like this guy,
that guy.
And so when I went back home and I was like, yo, like I kind of understand where she's coming from. Like you meet someone and they get you. Of course, it's in their own different ways. They understand you. So the people understand your soul, some people understand your mind, some people understand your body, you know. Yeah, and so when I took that and I was like, yeah, this guy has the password. So I took that and then I put it into that, like the emotion of the song.
Nice.
Exactly.
Wow, password. Uko na password wewe?
Gonna first word.
Wewe serious?
Because I feel actually when you write from situations, like people's situations or like something like that, then the vulnerability comes out. Because I'm like, even if in the, let's say I don't know how to say what I want to say, I'll just be like, okay, just imagine what is she feeling right now, and then that's now what I'll write.
So let me tell you, this is like one thing you may notice na only Rosa, like your lyrics. Sidhani kuna mtu mwingine anaweza andika lyrics kama hizo. Like these only type of lyrics za only Rosa, because we would to go out with the boys. We would like sat down and listen to the whole album, and then BIKO was like, kwa shida yako, he was like, wow, like the first line of the song is like, wow. Like why would that be the first line of his song? And how are you so brave, like putting that line on the first line of the song. I think that's what BIKO was like trying to figure out. It was like, wow.
So one thing I've learned about music, especially like in our industry in Kenya, is people don't say what they really want to say. But I'm like, why are you not saying it though? Like, that's what we want to hear. Like, I want to hear what you actually felt or did in that moment.
Exactly.
You know? And so I even saw like a few days ago on TikTok, there was like a lot of comments and stuff about Shidayako.
Yeah,
because guys were just like not understanding why I would write lyrics like those, you know.
Yes.
But for me, I'm like, it's only common sense. Nasimama uchi kwa kioo. Don't you stand naked in front of your mirror?
Maybe I don't.
You don't? Girls do. Yeah, I mean, if you like yourself, you do it. Like it's so normal. And actually, even that specific story. Oh my days. So even this story actually took it from someone else's like story. Which is actually like a family member of mine. She has no idea that I did this, by the way. But like, so there's this relative of mine, and she suddenly out of nowhere we found out that like her husband was like what do you call it? He was entertaining another woman who he met at the bar, and so she was basically living in fear because, you know, he has to go to the bar at the end of the day. You get?
Yes.
So it was like, I'm sitting at home, I'm waiting. It's not like I don't know where you are, but are you doing bad things where you're at? Yeah, and so that's how I thought of like, nasimama uchi kwa kioo, nashanga mbona bado hujako. So like nashanga, but then I also know why you haven't come. And also like the whole point behind that song was basically like, it was targeting like women. It's more like a women empowerment song if you actually listen to it, because it's almost like sometimes as women we give people the power over us, and it sort of distracts us from loving ourselves.
Nice.
Yeah, and so it was like, don't complain shida yako, shida umse bado ni madem, because hata we unajiletea shida by putting yourself in that situation.
Wow.
Yeah, and so that's how I thought of that song.
Damn.
Yeah.
You also talk in Chinese.
Yes,
I do. Yeah, I speak
in Pinyin
Chinese.
Mandarin. So
yeah, but like I don't have anyone that I speak to regularly, so it's been really hard to remember.
Say hi to us in Mandarin.
Ni hao ma. That's how are you doing? Then
Ni
you
hao.
say wo hen hao. I'm very good.
Hao.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wo hen hao.
Oh
my god. Yeah.
Nice. How did you learn Chinese?
So, random story. After high school, you know how everyone goes to do IT. Yeah, so I went. Let me tell you, I really liked studying. So my mom just took advantage of that. She was like, you can do IT, go do IT. You can do,
you can
go
be a
do.
chef.
Yeah, go do, yeah. So I did my IT, I finished. I did it for 3 months.
Yeah.
I got a certificate in IT. And then after that, I was still at home. My mom was like, nope, go do some languages. Those are short courses. And so I went to this language school, SEK language school.
And you learned the hardest language.
Yeah, and so, you know, everyone was doing Spanish, French.
And
so I was like, I've never liked doing what everyone does.
Wait, don't you want to do like Spanish is?
Because I felt like that's what everyone does, just
romantic.
Because, you know, at that time, that's when like the Chinese had started now coming to Kenya, you know. So it was, okay, maybe this is going to be a lucrative business in future.
In the future, nice.
Yeah, so I ended up doing Mandarin and sign language.
You can write in Mandarin.
Some things. I used to be able to write like really well, but now I don't practice it anymore. So yeah, but at least I can speak and I can read it.
The first song, Kaishi.
Oh, Kaishi, yeah.
So it's starting. I think I googled that. It's
begin, yeah.
Oh,
Kaishi means begin. Yeah.
Tell us about the intro. And
so
why
the intro,
why the first 2 lines of the intro? Tell us.
So the intro, first of all, I've never had an intro, so this is my first ever intro. So I was so excited.
Yes.
I was like, guys,
I gotta do an intro.
Yeah. I was like, takuaje album without an intro. Yeah. So as I was thinking about it, obviously because I had never done one before, I just thought, okay, this is the beginning of my journey. I want to take people on a journey in this album, a journey through every situation I've been in as I'm creating this album. And so it only made sense that that's what I was going to say. Lately, I've been thinking too much, but don't worry about me. Let's just get it started.
Okay.
So that's what it says. And so I said the same thing also in Chinese. So lately I've been thinking too much is all these things on the album. I've been thinking about all those things, but it doesn't matter. I have to make music and life has to go on. So let's get it started. Yeah.
I don't know, Sissy, if you've been thinking too much is our advantage. We get songs, we get good albums. I don't know how it's working out for you, especially because like yesterday was Mental Health Awareness Day.
Yeah.
So tell us about your mental health and.
So actually, wait 1 second. So one of the main reasons I actually titled this album Rosaland, and why it's a journey, it's because it all started with mental health issues. Do you remember after COVID and everyone was like, am I at the right place? Am I doing what I want to do? Yeah, and like even for me, I had this point where I was like, do I really want to be an artist? Like, is this how are things gonna be? There were no shows. Yeah, and so that's when I looked into the mirror and I said, better days in a come. Yeah, and at that point I said, you know what? My job is to create. I have to make music. If I'm feeling like this, I can imagine how other people are feeling. And I noticed that a simple song can change someone's entire mentality.
Oh, yeah, true.
Yeah, it starts by changing your mood, like the first hour. Then your whole day has changed. Then your week. And then now it's like background music to your life.
It's like a ripple effect.
Exactly. Nice. And so through just thinking about that in my own mental health, and as creatives I feel people don't understand that our brains are wired differently.
Yes.
Yeah, and no one was understanding that, because even post-COVID I was still like, guys, I think I'm still gonna make music. Then everyone was like, but there's no money, there are no shows. Yeah, but I was just like, you know what, it has to work. And that's even when I now started doing art, a lot of my art, painting, drawing, like it just made me more expressive. And yeah, so I think my album was basically me trying to maneuver through everything that was like eating up on my mental health.
Like a therapy session.
Exactly.
Nice.
Because at the end of the day, actually, even as a creative, if you look at the titles, the different things that I've talked about in the music, there are things that affect you. Like you can't be a music presenter like the whole day you're good over here, but then when you go home you're in this terrible relationship. When you come to work tomorrow, you can't express yourself. You get Nice. Let's say you're doing this, but then in the back of your head you're like, oh, my family doesn't approve. Like there's just always something crazy affecting you. I think it's just not like being, let's say, an accountant. I have the figures, I'm gonna sit here, do the math and go home. Like whatever we say and what we give to the world is affected by our environment and the people we meet here.
Wow. So I want to talk about Mama and use sign language to this song. Tell me more about it.
You can sing it in sign language.
Wow. Well, the chorus mainly, that's what I've been practicing because I felt as though I wanted, it's such a universal song. I don't want anybody really to miss out on what I'm saying. Brings me back to being a creative. Some of us, it took us a while for our folks to accept that we were artists, you know. See? You have to like basically do it by force, you know, just to prove yourself. And so for me, because I was raised by a single mom, that's
big shout out to every single mother who's out there.
Yes. Like that's always been my plan. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna have to prove to you and the whole world that I have to be a musician, and this is what I'm giving to the world. And so in that Mama song, it's basically a letter to every artist out there, mostly the ones who have single parents, and that's the only person you have left. And it's like, hold on, like don't leave me yet in this world before you see like what I'm going to do. Exactly. And that was the whole story behind it. And that's actually why I did it in sign language, because like I know there's many people who want to say that to their parents, but they just can't. Yeah,
this is such a dope project. I mean, your mamas must be so proud.
Let me tell you, my mom is those guys. She listens to my song, and when it's done, sasa mbona mtu ataski words. I'm like, what? I say that's how she reacts to like everything. I played her Oni and she was like, clarity. Nakwambia kila saa, clarity. Why are you mumbling your words? And I'm like, yo. And so I actually played her Mama like 2 days ago, and she listened and she was like, Mrs. Keywords vizuri. I was like, wait, just give me feedback from
Where's
the ones who
mama?
the ones who understand. And when it was done, she was like, this is really nice. It sounds really nice. And that's actually the first time ever my mom has said
compliment
my song.
on your song.
She's actually
big.
like, yeah, and it was
all right.
Nah, and when I told her the story behind it, then she was like, okay, yeah, I really like this song. So yeah, I think it
shout
did
out
its
to
job.
Mama Rosa.
Yay.
So Mama, no favorite project yake.
Yeah, I think Mama is her favorite one. Yeah,
forever.
Only she's like she can't understand.
And talking about understanding, you do mix Dhuluo in your songs.
Yes.
How did you come with this idea?
So this actually started after Waves. On the Waves EP, I did Nyako with Japesa. Yes. And there was just something about it. Like whenever I hear that song, and even when I perform it, I feel like this, like that's when my alter ego is like alive. Exactly.
Like, wow.
So I realized it's a huge part of me, especially because I can't speak like traditional Dhuluo, you know, like that deep Dhuluo. Yeah, like if you leave me in the middle of Siaya right now, I'll be fine, but you won't find me like holding a committee with guys. Yeah, but then when I sing it, I'm really fluent at it. And so I was like, okay, that has to mean something. There's a reason I can sing it, but I can't speak it. And so since then, after Nyako, it's just been like, okay, challenge myself. And I've just gotten better at it, I think. Yay. And there's also that feeling I'm telling you, like there's just something, you know, when you create something and deep down you're like, this sounds dope. And I always feel that when I do it in Dhuluo.
Nice.
So I think it's just become like something I'm used to now.
Mpaka umefanya tuongea Dhuluo kwa OnlyFans ingebidi to do it Dhuluo. But it's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
As we come to the end of the interview, I always have this question.
Yeah.
Like, what would you love Rosa to be remembered for?
Art. That's literally it. I just want to be remembered for someone whose purpose on this art was to make your day better, was to give you hope through my art. Like that's literally it. Be it when I'm painting, when I'm writing, when I'm performing. Like I just don't want art to die. Like that's literally it. Yeah.
Okay, so on the QUORUM show, the way we end our interviews, we end with getting a little bit personal. But I think not only Rosa, like personal is your brand.
Okay.
So I want to ask you, are you into astrology?
Sort of. I'm not like everyone else who's just like, what's your sign? Blah, blah, blah. No, not that bad. I'm really into like my spirituality though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I am.
Right. What zodiac sign are you?
A Taurus.
A Taurus.
Yes.
Nice. The grounded Taurus.
The bull.
Wow. Nice. I think that's where like you're very personal in your music because like Taurus is, yes.
I just know like, Tauruses are like artistic.
Depth, yes.
Yeah.
This depth and they would love to be vulnerable. Tauruses.
That's so interesting. Maybe that's actually why. I don't know. I think I always just look at the negative things on my horoscope and I'm like, that's me. All these other good things, I'm like,
So let me ask you about your spiritual journey and how spiritually how do you stay connected to your higher self?
So for me, like I meditate a lot.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I could literally even just be in traffic and I'm like, I need to stop somewhere. Yeah, I need to just stop and like take a few breaths. Yeah, so I meditate a lot. I also use a lot of crystals.
Nice.
The time I was reading tarot.
You did read tarot?
Yeah, but I did it on myself though. But yeah, there was also a time I was doing that. And then what else? I'm those people like when I'm not in a good mood, I'll burn my sage and stuff like that. Yeah, so I just have like my little routines that keep me grounded, basically.
Nice. What has meditation done for you?
Everything. So one thing about me, like I'm very erratic. So like 1 minute I'll be like, oh, I don't want to do this. Then I'll just be like, let's go. Okay, yeah, let's do it. You know, but it comes to a lot of overthinking. And so I've had to learn how to like find that balance between you want to do something, but then again, why don't you want to do it? It's like a lot. And then being an artist, I'll tell you something. Being a woman is so hard. like being a woman and now being a woman who's an artist is like it's a lot. Your emotions are everywhere. Like you understand things in a certain way, and so even just finding that balance of like my feminine energy and reasoning sometimes and my heart, it's like it's a lot. So I think meditation has really helped me with that.
Nice.
Yeah, because honestly you can go mad.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah.
When I'm meditating,
I try, but you know what? It doesn't work.
Why?
It works.
Like I'll tell you, if there's one activity in the same aim ground my life, it's like meditation and breath work. Yeah, my mind was erratic. There was a time my mind was erratic.
Yeah,
everywhere, everything, feeling everything going on everywhere.
Yeah,
but the moment like I started doing breath works, and mostly I started with guided meditation, and mostly it didn't work then because this guy is telling you sit down,
close your eyes.
Close your eyes, let's do this. They're like mostly it didn't work, but after a few times of trying just deep breaths, I realized like my mind is clear and calm. I can notice like ideas popping and I can catch them out, let them be and be with them. So like
and it also like it takes you to this place where you're like just being in normal life you can never go there. It's like a place you didn't know exists. Just a quiet place,
a place of tranquility.
Exactly.
I'll try.
Yes, please try.
What you said you enjoy like traveling hobbies. What other hobbies do you have like?
I think most of my hobbies are just artsy hobbies. I draw a lot. Yeah, I draw portraits. I'm really good at drawing people.
Yeah.
I do. What else do I do? Gymming is basically my main hobby because at least I do that almost every day.
Nice.
I used to bake a lot, but now I can't bake and also work out because I just end up eating everything that I bake. So now I've had to like cut down on that as well. What else? I think that's pretty much it.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you say? What's your vice?
My vice. I don't think I can say that on radio, but
how bad is it?
Vice? I don't know. I don't have like a public vibe.
All right.
But maybe eating. I think eating is my vice, honestly.
Really?
Especially being a Taurus, like seriously, I can see someone nodding their head. Like it's not just me. Honestly, like I can eat.
She's always eating. Yes.
Really? Oh my gosh. Yeah, so I'm also, in fact, just as I was coming, I was actually eating a fruit salad as I was driving. I think at any opportunity I get where I can munch something, I'm going to.
But I'm the complete opposite of you. I'll forget to eat.
What?
Forget?
How'd you forget
I
to
do.
eat?
Maybe like there's this time.
Look at this.
There's this time in my life you wanna try kila kitu. Like I was on my spiritual journey. I was just being erratic with everything.
Yeah.
Like I tried like being vegan and and this intermittent fasting.
Yeah.
And I think kutoka hapo nili chakula kidogo nasahau wengi.
If I forget, guys, check on
lunch.
There's something wrong if I forget.
If I forget food.
All right. So going as we wind up, I want you to like acknowledge a few people who have helped you through Rosaland or your journey in music. Yeah.
Before we go there, I have a question that I've just popped in my mind. On this album, you decided to work with different like producers. A reason behind that?
So first of all, for my whole career, I think I've worked with a few producers. Like during my whole journey, there are specific producers that I've worked with. But I'm one of those people that I'm like, if I want to do something, I have to do it now. And so I had an opportunity to make an album and I wanted to work with like a couple of people. So it's like, now I have to do it now. So I just selected like the people who I've always wanted to work with, which is Mutoria, because I've worked with him before. Dili, I have worked with him before and it was amazing. And then there was Musyoka, we've constantly, Musyoko's on disco, and we've constantly been saying like we're gonna work together, but we hadn't. And then So Fresh, I know So Fresh works a lot with so many people that I know, but I had never worked with him. Yeah, and so it was just like, okay, the time is now. I have to do it.
You have to do it. Yeah, okay.
Was timing.
The timing.
All right.
Timing.
So, the timing. Una kwanga mtu kuangalia ma 11 and saying,
yeah,
I'm in the right place.
Exactly.
And the 2
I do that.
Things, the
oh my God, it's like you guys know me. Oh my God.
I do.
Yes.
As I was asking the people who have motivated you, encouraged you, and your musical influences. Yeah.
So I just want to say thank you so much to everyone who's been a part of Rosaland with me. Thank you, Musyoka, Dili, So Fresh, Mutoria, even Kay the Great for all the inspiration, and obviously Bian for agreeing and working with me on OnlyFans. And then Platoon Music, they've been amazing, for believing in me. And then Brian Smalls, literally this guy has been my partner. If you look at my album, like the track list, you'll see Black Market Africa. So Brian Smalls is from Black Market Africa, and it's basically been like they've been my partner this whole way, just for these 2 years to bring this whole story to life. And then also Game 7 Media, shout out Game 7 for making my listening party come true. Yay. And then random, this is such a random shout out, but like, so for my song, ever since I did my song Nyako, I've had a lot of support from people who are with me on the previous EP. So guys like Japesa. So I just want to give a huge shout out to those guys. They've really motivated me. My makeup artist had the same makeup artist for like 6-7 years now. Sabrina the Libra. Yes. My dancers, says. Yeah, so I feel everyone who's just been there with me, like, thank you so much. And my fans, all my days.
Thank you. You've thanked us up.
It's been such a long time coming, honestly. I started saying I was going to have an album like a year ago, and people just kept like being patient with me. So I'm so grateful for that. Yeah.
And thank you for giving us a land that we can.
Thank you.
We can go there, enjoy it.
You can just, when you need to escape for a little bit, just go to Rosaland.
And where can people find it?
On all platforms. Spotify, Audiomack, Deezer, Apple Music, iTunes. Stream, and share. And tag me, the only Rosa. ROSA.
We will do that. We have been doing that. We have been playing your music heavy, and the response has been crazy, amazing.
Thank you.
I think I would want to say thank you for showing up. Thank you for honoring the invite.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you for sharing your creative genius with us. Thank you for giving me my wedding song.
Your wedding song,
Thank you for giving me better days.
You're welcome.
For sure.
I think that's ni kama nitalipa down payment ya wedding before they pande.
Una push it.
To make sure when like anybody asks you like, what have you planned so far? So I have a song.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have a song.
No, but I have a song.
I don't have a bride, but I have a song.
That's one thing, right?
Yes. So sijui kama ulikuwa unataka we say our best from the album.
Yes. I have to know what's your favorite from the album is.
Wow.
That one. Okay.
That
Go.
one. So, ABORN, Mr. Sam MUTHONDU from 254 Radio, and from Rosaland, an amazing masterpiece. I would say, Better Days. Onye is such a vibe. I mean, Onye, and then I've like gotten a new perspective of it. So nitaenda kuisikiza tena. And then my wedding song. I have a wedding song,
which is
On
a Daily.
Yes, On a Daily.
Yeah,
so on
you
a
just
daily.
know it's your wedding song.
Yeah, it's my wedding song. On a Daily.
Can we do this off air, please?
Yes.
Okay, thank you much for coming through. Here is Better Days by the one and only Rosa, because we love this song. Hey, me, I love this song. Thank you much for coming through.
Thank you.
Tulikuwa tunabonga kila day, then I went MIA. I was stuck at the bar bottom of the bottle because they said it would be a healer. That tequila. I looked into the mirror, cheekbones getting thinner, dreams started going down. All my friends, they walked away, left me in the shame. You saying better days in a car. Ulisema sitahangaika, sitateseka, ukiniangalia. Ulisema sitahangaika, sitateseka, ukiniangalia. Better days in a come. 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 I'm not the type to walk away. I shoot my problems in the face just like renegade. With no delay, with no debate. Don't call me in for a plate, I already ate. It's funny how I'm happy now. I'm moving on with the clouds, I'm higher now. Endele na endelea. Could replay till it to ulisema. Sitahangaika, sitateseka, ukiniangalia. Ulisema sitahangaika, sitateseka, ukiniangalia.